Hi there, strikers. There's something uniquely disturbing about people vanishing into thin air. Read about these incredibly strange, unsolved cases. Although these disappearances span centuries, locations, age ranges, and circumstances, there's one common thread shared between them: a lack of closure. There are theories, speculations, and investigations, but never a decisive answer. On our incoming episode, I'm going to feature some of the cases of mysterious disappearances, of some missing that just disappear without any trace.
Disappearance of Asher Degree. On February 14, 2009, year-old Asher Degree vanished without a trace. Asher lived at home, 3404 Oakcrest Street, Shelby, North Carolina, with her mother Aquila, father Harold, and her 10-year-old brother O'Brien. Before heading to bed, Asher's dad checked on her at 2:30 am and found her asleep in her bed. Asher and her brother O'Brien shared a bedroom. O'Brien said he heard noises in the early morning hours, but assumed it was his sister tossing and turning in bed. When Aquila went to wake up her children for school at approximately 6:30 am, Asher was nowhere to be found. There was no sign of forced entry, and all of the doors were locked. 2 truck drivers reported seeing Asher walking south on North Carolina Highway 18 around a mile from her home between 3:30 am and 4:15 am. The truckers saw Asher leave the roadway and disappear out of sight. 3 days after Asher disappeared, her pencil, marker, and Mickey Mouse hairball were found in a toolshed at Turner's Upholstery, located along North Carolina Highway 18 close to where the truckers spotted Asher. In August 2001, a contractor clearing a lot discovered Asher's book bag. It was double wrapped in black plastic bags and buried more than 26 miles away from her home. It was sent for tests, but the results have never been made public. The authorities and Asher's family searched tirelessly for Asher, but her disappearance remains unsolved. One of the most ridiculous theories in this case bandied about the internet is that sleepwalking caused Asher's death. It's never been proven that she suffered from sleepwalking, and she would have had to change her clothes and grab her belongings in her sleep without waking up her brother, who slept only a few feet away. Even more, did a sleeping Asher really lock the door behind her when she left the house? Additionally, it was freezing cold outside, windy, and pouring rain. Could Asher have slept through this kind of inclement weather? Did she manage to stumble into someone's pool and drown, or get hit by a passing vehicle while sleepwalking? I doubt it. In the end, I give very little credence to the idea that Asher sleepwalked to her death. Was Asher murdered by a family member? Given that stranger abductions are so rare, when children disappear from their homes in the middle of the night, suspicion is usually cast on the child's family. In this case, however, the family was quickly cleared by the police. By all accounts, Asher lived a happy, if somewhat sheltered, life. The authorities don't even hint that Asher was murdered by a family member. Also, Asher's parents have worked tirelessly to find her, seem genuinely distraught, and have remained in the family home for decades on the off chance that Asher might come home. Asher's mom explained, "I never suspected my husband or my son. Not ever, never ever." Although possible, it's highly improbable that Asher was murdered by a family member. Was Asher abducted from her home in the middle of the night? This is a near impossible theory. Could an abductor have happened by the house in the short window of opportunity they would have had to take her? Also, how could Asher have been abducted without waking up her brother, who was sleeping only a few feet away? Plus, there was no sign of forced entry and all of the doors were locked. Lastly, if she was abducted from her home, how could 2 truckers have spotted her walking along North Carolina Highway 18 on the night of her disappearance? I think it's implausible to think that a sleeping Asher was abducted from her home. Did Asher run away from home? This is the likely scenario. However, what compelled Asher to leave home, and what happened to her after she left, remains a mystery. The police think that Asher packed her book bag in advance so she could leave without disturbing anyone. Also, Asher had a key to the house. She could have locked the door behind her when she left. However, the police were unable to find any evidence that Asher was abused or had an unhappy home life. What would compel a 9-year-old girl to run away? There is some talk that Asher was upset that her team recently lost a basketball game, but I doubt this would cause her to leave home. Also, her class was reading The Whipping Boy by Sid Fleischman before Asher vanished. The story follows the adventures of 2 characters that run away. There is some talk that Asher was upset that her team recently lost a basketball game, but I doubt this would cause her to leave home. Also, Her class was reading the whipping boy sitt Fleischmann before Asher vanished. The story follows the adventures of two characters that run away. But if she wanted to embark on an adventure, would Asher really choose to leave in the middle of a dark, stormy night? And if she decided to run away on her own, what happened to her? Did a stranger murder her? Was she kidnapped and forced into sex trafficking? Could a driver have accidentally struck her and hit her body? The heartbreaking options are almost endless. Many people also think that Asher was convinced to run away from home by someone she knew. The question, though, is who would have had the opportunity to get close enough to Asher to convince her to run away? Asher and her brother reportedly led a sheltered life and didn't even have a computer in the house. Remember that some of Asher's belongings were found in a toolshed approximately a mile from her home. Was Asher convinced to meet someone there? And if so, how did someone get close enough to Asher to influence her to run away? Asher's family holds out hope that she's still alive. Asher's MOM said, "I'm still expecting to see her walking in the door when everyone else says this child's dead. I don't feel it." Investigators also still believe that they'll find Asher. They have followed hundreds of leads and new ones keep turning up. For instance, in January 2014, Donald Preston Ferguson pled guilty to the 1990 murder of 7-year-old Shalonda S. Paul. Investigators try to link Ferguson to Asher's disappearance due to the geographic proximity of the crimes and the victimology, but failed. Also, in May 2016, the police released information about a vehicle Asher may have been seen entering on the night of her disappearance. The vehicle is described as an early 1970s Lincoln Mark IV or Ford Thunderbird with rust around the wheel wells. Nothing, though, has ever come of this lead. Asher's loved ones deserve answers. Asher's mother has said that not knowing what happened to her daughter is worse than death, because with death you have closure. With this, there's no closure. Let's help Asher and her family find some sense of closure. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward, and the community an additional $20,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for Asher's disappearance. And that's for our episode for today. Until next time. This has been a Striker 21. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks, Strikers.